Let me look.
It'll happen. It says we're live.
They're all like, we don't want anything to do with those guys tonight. Nope, we are live.
They're never on at 8 o'clock. They're never
Gotta
on
wait
right
a
at 8
couple
o'clock.
minutes.
Why would they be on right at 8 o'clock? They're always late. Why would they be on time tonight? They're always late. Yeah, I'm trying to refresh mine. It's not showing up. But
No, I see it.
excuse me. Oh, now I see it. Okay. Oh, I see it.
We just gotta wait for them to roll in.
Yeah, that's all. So maybe we have no viewers tonight. Oh my God, no viewers.
Oh, no.
That wouldn't be good. The entire world is dead.
Oh, we have one. Hi, Colette.
Yeah. See, thanks for showing up, Colette. We thought the entire world died.
And Jason Marble, the two MVPs.
I guess because we were on time tonight. You know, people aren't used to us being on time. We're usually a few minutes late.
Yeah.
For one reason or another. Good evening, Bob. Good evening, Ann. And Jason and Colette, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being on tonight. I'm sure we'll have some other people show up. There's Jill Hicks. Oh, Abby Daniels Kurzweil. I know who that is. Christina.
Dana.
Yeah, Dana.
Hi, Dana.
How's it going out there, Abby? Colorado land. Still wondering why I haven't made my trip out there yet. Well, it's because of coronavirus. So, you know, not traveling anywhere right now. Nowhere. Not even my car. They won't even, you know. Of course, us New Yorkers, if we go to another state, they just excuse me, people. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be on it. But anyways, us New Yorkers, if we leave the state, they tend to want to quarantine us for 14 days anyway.
That's what we're doing.
He says, what's going on in the paranormal world?
Hey, Delaney.
Same stuff, different day. Yeah. We had Carly here who got tested for coronavirus, came back negative. Still having an issue, though. What do we think it is, Carly? Zombie virus instead of coronavirus?
Yeah. What was the Carly virus?
Yeah, the Carly virus.
It's getting old.
Could be bronchitis.
It's getting really old.
Could be anything.
Better to be safe. Go wash your hands.
Yeah.
My job, I wash my hands for my job. I'm a scrub tech. I'm one of the most sterile people out there.
Well, you had to work with
sick.
You had to work with a sick doctor, I guess. And Evie says, Evie is good. It's good, Evie. We're glad you're good out there in Colorado land. See, Chris Sanders is on. It says there they are. I see Chris. Christina again. Anybody got any questions tonight? I have no questions except what's wrong with Carly. I have that question. That's still weighing on my mind terribly. Bob Maloney's here. I see Bob. Colette says she's going to work and back, and that's it. We're on partial lockdown in the UK. Yes, I know that. You guys also over in the UK. Yeah, you are on partial lockdown. We are here in New York State too. I am working from home, which is pretty easy. You know, I hop on my computer in the morning, work all day, do what I got to do for what I do full time, and work my usual day, just sitting here at home instead of in the office, and it's working.
I've been sleeping.
What's wrong with me today? I feel a little tired today.
Unlike Jack, I've been sleeping and watching Swamp People.
Yes, well, you've still had
I've gotten through 2 seasons in like 2 days.
She has. She's been binging it. I can hear it while I'm in here working. I'm in one room working. She's in the other watching people.
Swamp People.
Which, you know, you'd think she'd be watching some paranormal shows. No, yeah. Is it Swamp People? That's what it is, right?
I want to connect with my family, man. That's in my blood.
Yeah, well, I'm doing it.
One thing you guys don't
I
know
see
about me
Billy
is
Sims.
my mom was a gator wrestler. She used to wrestle some gators down in Florida.
Not for a job.
Not for a job,
She did
for
it for
fun.
fun.
But they do that for fun over there too sometimes. And for their job. But Maine in lockdown for 14
Some
days
people.
as of today at 5. Wow. Sorry,
Good
guys.
luck with that, Chris. Good luck with that, Chris. I've already been locked down for that many days. I'm waiting for a few. I think I've gone out for was groceries yesterday. I mean,
Hmm.
on the weekend, hadn't gone out for much. There's nothing
Yeah.
here open. Oh Lord, the guy. I think I'll let you take
Mhm.
over, Carly. I see Stacy Horton's on.
Yeah. And yeah,
Can't
Stacey
imagine.
Williams.
I can't imagine why Stacy would be on. She's supposed to be working at someplace, but I'm sure she. Well, actually, um, where she's working is closed down right now too, except for delivery orders. Right, Stacy? I mean, as far as I know, you're. Um,
We can
I don't know
order
if we.
delivery
I
and she
can
can
mention the
come.
name of where she works. Texas Roadhouse is one of the
Yeah.
places she works, uh, and it's a really good place, and it's one of my favorite places. So there's a plug for Texas Roadhouse when they get back open again here in New York.
Well, they do
Uh,
takeout, and they're still like
oh
open for
yes, they are.
takeout. So,
Yeah, as far as I know, they are still open
yeah.
for
So
takeout.
head on over and get
That's
some
true.
awesome rolls at
Yeah,
takeout.
yeah. The
Yeah.
butter rolls, the buttered
Mhm.
rolls, Carly's favorite.
Stacy and the buttered rolls are the only reasons I go over there.
Um, and Christina is still preparing taxes. Colette can't work from home. She's security in a warehouse. Yeah, that makes it kind of at nights. Well, why aren't you working, Colette? There's nobody there anyway. You're security in a warehouse nights. Who the hell is there? Go back to work. You're not interacting with anybody except a bunch of boxes laying around in a warehouse. Yeah, the
Hopefully, not
warehouse.
interacting with
That's
anybody.
that's the warehouse that has everybody's stuff. It's a toilet paper warehouse, isn't it, Colette? Be honest. You work in the toilet paper warehouse and you have it all stocked there, don't you? You're not releasing any of it. I know what's going on there. And then
Poor
Sam,
Colette.
Sam says, "Hey guys, wrestling gators is fun." Oh, Sam, have you wrestled gators? We know Sam. Sam's a friend of
It is fun. So I've heard
mine.
on the
I've
phone in the
personally never
background.
tried it. Closest thing I've come to wrestling a gator was having an argument with Ellen McNeil. That was the closest I ever came to wrestling a gator.
Oh, and
Um,
taking the TV remote and that was sitting right next to my food.
Yeah, it was like a alligator almost biting your hand off, though. That was not really wrestling.
Oh, we got our first question. Bob Maloney says, if someone has an attachment or are possessed, do they know it? And does the attachment or possession go away on their own?
Hang on, I'm gonna hold that for a second. And Stacy says, "I got plenty of rolls for you."
Oh, thank you, Stacey. I love you.
All right, now back to Bob's question. What did he say? Okay, I'm gonna throw up Bob's question so everybody can see it. Here's Bob's question. There you go. Go ahead and read it again, Carl.
If someone has an attachment or are possessed, do they know it? And does the attachment or possession go away on their own?
Good question.
Yeah.
Um, there is occasions I have seen occasions where some attachments they're like temporary things. They have gone away on their own. Actually, I had one like that. That was in Mendon, Massachusetts, a case we
Oh,
had there,
yeah.
where that particular individual attached to me for a period of time until I figured out about his accident he had, and then he kind of left on his own. He was just there long enough to cause me some troubles and get me into a car accident. He probably left when I had the car accident. But I didn't have to have any cleansing done. He kind of went away on his own, went back to where he'd come from. That does happen occasionally, but usually um, the person who ends up with an attachment will realize it eventually. You'll start having strange things happening, and usually you have to have some help with removing that attachment. Possessions are a completely different thing, correct, Carly? I'll let Carly
Yes.
talk to the possession part of it. Attachments are not possessions. Possessions are usually
It's like
attachments
a
can be
string of energy.
any spirit. Yeah, attachment can be any spirit. Um, but possessions are different than an attachment. Attachment is just something that's hanging around you, causing you some problems. But possessions can actually make you have thoughts that aren't your own. They can actually sometimes, they will. Possession is taking you over, so to speak. But Carly, go ahead and talk to possessions.
So yes, so possession is when another spirit or entity occupies your body along with you, or sometimes in extreme cases without you. It can actually kind of kick your spirit out of its body and take control of your body for a small period of time. We have seen a case where that has happened. And so with possession, people don't know that they're possessed. They kind of have blackout moments, loss of time. They don't typically really realize that until someone on the outside observes their behavior and notices it, and then will make them aware. And then typically, if you kind of think back a little bit, you can kind of recall those blackout moments or, kind of attitude changes that you have beforehand. But a possession is completely different from an attachment where you have no control whatsoever.
Like anybody who was watching last week, I think my microphone had an attachment until Carly came over and blessed me. Maybe I had the attachment.
And I got some here right now just in case.
Yeah.
Holy water.
If you actually saw that, after Carly blessed me on the forehead, the audio problems went away. Although I did switch over to my headset anyway. But before I did switch, the audio problems went away. Very interesting.
Yeah.
And just say hello to James Creechbaum there. I see James is here.
And that in itself does prove that if you have faith that it works and you use it, it does work. That was proof.
Yeah, you have to truly believe. And I see Mike and Jenny are here. And, thanks for joining us once again.
Hi guys.
Our good friends out there. Sam. Oh, Sam is from Florida. I forgot that, Sam. I did forget that Sam is from Florida. Going back to the whole gator wrestling thing.
Cool.
Sam, yeah, you're right, Sam.
Really
You are. I forgot about that. I did forget about that. I apologize. Yes, so he may have wrestled the gator or two. I'll have to talk to him more about that next time we see him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Sam, I'm gonna have to talk to you about that gator wrestling thing.
He would
I
love
wouldn't be
my story.
surprised. I would not be surprised if Sam had actually wrestled a gator. I really wouldn't. It just
Totally could do it. I could see him doing it.
I could too. It would not surprise me at all.
He's a fun guy. He's awesome. So
yeah, and it's probably at one of
totally do it.
those places where they try to save the gators and stuff too. That'd be
And
my
move them, relocate them. Yeah, I would.
yeah. Probably something like either that or his younger days when he was just more wild and crazy than he already is.
Yeah.
Okay, here's Bob Burnell's got a question on EM pumps. All right, I'm just going to post this. I'll bring this up. So Bob says, got a question for you, for Jack and Carly on EM pumps. Do they work? Are they like food for the spirits? And if they do, why wouldn't hanging out in microwaves and breaker boxes work as well? That's a good question. And I have seen EM pumps help, but I will tell you this, talking about microwaves and breaker boxes maybe more, especially down in basements, things like that. I have had where I've had more activity around areas where there's higher EMF than in areas where there's no EMF. Now that can be because yes, the entities are feeding off that electronic energy. So I have seen actual increased activity in like basements where the breaker boxes are giving off a lot of high EMF and stuff like that. I have seen that, or even in apartments where there's an area where there's a breaker box and there seems to be more activity around that area. Now it could be because with that, the spirits are used to it and they know where that energy is. It's like being at home and know where your refrigerator is, right? You know where to go to get something to eat. With EM pumps, I've seen about a 50-50. Unless you leave it there for a period of time, I think it can, once they realize that energy source is there, they might begin to work off of that. Or as it fills the room, it provides more energy for anything that's in that area or in that room to feed off of, or in that location. I've seen people use them out in the open and stuff. And So yeah, if you're asking me, Bob, are they worth owning? I don't own one. That doesn't mean they're not worth owning. I just don't. I don't have an additional use for it. Let's
I
put it.
have a follow-up question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would that interfere with a psychic's reading in the room, like a medium's reading in the room?
Potentially, it could. It's a lot more energy that's filling up the space. It might cause confusion for a psychic because they're trying to pick up on spirit energy, and there's all this excess energy being put out by the EM pumps. So it could cause some type of interference, electrical interference, because it is just pumping out a ton of energy. So
Yeah.
that's what EM pumps do. They put out energy. Um, so yeah, it could cause some interference for psychic abilities. That may be why I don't like being around them very much. I get, I don't know, they just begin to annoy
Like the
me.
ionizers?
Yeah, I mean, I've been sitting in rooms. You don't hear it. I mean, you don't. You feel it after a while, and
Yeah.
it begins to kind of bother me. So I've left rooms because of that heavy pumps in them. Because of not again, I don't own one, but I've been with people who have, and I have seen some increased activity at times, and other times nothing. Um, I've had more activity outside of the rooms than in the room they're using it. So um, I don't know if that really answered your question there, Bob. But yeah, are they useful? They can be. It's like anything else. Anything can be somewhat useful. But I have noticed in rooms where there's just more naturally high EMF, I seem to get more activity. Um, so there you go. That was no more evident than in a location that was the Fairbanks House in Dedham, Massachusetts, where there's no electricity in that building except a couple locations. But the highest EMF location is in the far west wing of the building, where on the outside of the building there's a transformer that's up on a telephone pole, and that gives off the highest EMF in that area. And we had more activity on that side of the house, and you could measure if you put the EMF meter close to the wall. You could measure that EMF coming in from the house, and there's no wiring there in the house in that location, but it's coming in off the transformer on the corner of the building. So there you go. That's my thought on that. What else we got? We got anything else?
You got a bunch. So,
Terry's talking about he's still working at his place. Is it essential because we deal with government contracts? Okay, well, I work for the government, and they didn't consider me essential enough to work from home. That's all, Barry. If anybody knows, I work for the Department of the Army. That's who I work for. I work in engineering, but we we work mostly on updating drawings and different things like that. So that's mostly a lot of that stuff I can work on from home here, at least for now. It's going to be temporary anyway, so you can't do that forever, but for a period of time we can. Um, there's other people who have to go out and do testing out in other areas, so that makes it a bit more difficult um, because we can't travel right now. We're restricted from traveling right now, so we can't go do that stuff. All right, so where's the other question, Carly? You said
Evie has one. Can you do paranormal investigations online? Someone could walk you around their house with their camera, etc. And actually, Jack has done this for me for events that I couldn't go to. Um,
yeah.
it's good for mediums and psychics to read the rooms. I don't know about actual like client investigations. You know,
A little tougher. You still have to
yeah.
have somebody there with the camera bringing you around. But yes, we have done it.
And people do their events online too.
Yeah, there's live shows online all the time that do it. That you can follow along with them. Some people recently did something at the Hinsdale House, I think last month, where they brought everybody around while they were investigating. And yeah, you can do that, and you can talk about what activities going on and bring them along with you. And again, Carly said I did that down when I was down in Tennessee at one of the locations I was at down there, and we did that. And she was able to follow what was going on down there and actually saw some of the activity. It was able to tap in a little bit to what was in the building and stuff. So yeah, that's a good question, Evie. And yes, it is possible to do that. Yeah, yeah. Right now, nobody, at least New York State, nobody's going anywhere. Can't
Right.
go anywhere. My house isn't haunted enough for me to drag you around my house, but
Nope.
you know, I only got positive things in this house, so nothing
If it's
crazy.
anything negative, kicking it out.
Yeah, yeah, but
I
people
can't
are
deal with
doing
that.
that. There is some people doing that, and but right now, yeah, we're all kind of
Mhm.
cloistered in. But maybe in some of the other states, people could be doing that,
And
and I
another
think
point,
some are.
guys, with being quarantined inside your house and you're itching to go investigating, do not investigate your own home.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that. It's a bad time.
And Jaden asked me, "Do I remember the house in Plattsburgh, New York?" Yes, I do remember that house. I do remember that case. I was up there quite a few times. I did a lot of blessings up there. We did a lot of different things, and they were still having activity when last time I was up there. Um, I just haven't gotten back with them again. We were going to try one other thing, and that had to do with climbing under the house and trying to do a blessing on the property that was under the house, because the house was built over an old house that was knocked down and had activity in that house. So we think that's where all that activity was coming from. I just hadn't gotten back up there to do that. We had other cases came up. We had other things that happened just in life. But I do remember that case, Jaden. And yes, I should try to reach back out to that family and see how things are going again. Um, Again, we just picked up a couple other cases. I had been up there before the last time I talked to them, and we were trying to schedule something to go back. And I think we just kind of faded after that. That's something I need to go look back into. Um, and Jenny says, yes, it does. I'm not sure what that was in response to. Um, but Jaden, if you have something about that case you'd like to talk about or tell me about, yes, I remember the case. Yes. Oh, here's one from Nikki. Here, I'm going to pop this one up. Go ahead and you read that one, Carly.
Okay. You tested out my lungs today. What do you guys recommend for being around energy vampires? Situation was one where they couldn't be avoided, so what is the best way to deal with them? It's a great
I
question.
got no clue. No, I'm only kidding. I have a clue. Um,
You're
yeah,
screwed.
the Yeah, you're SOL. No, no, that's not true.
No, 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 no,
No,
no.
the best thing to do, what you have to try to do is kind of like meditate a little bit, put up a wall, kind of just you can envision a brick wall between you and them that just kind of cuts them off. You can envision the bright light of your faith, whatever your faith or belief system is, surrounding you in this white ball of light and letting all that negativity bounce back away from you, back to them, or just bounce off anywhere else. It's a matter of protection. It's a matter of putting up something that blocks that energy, blocks them from draining that energy from you. I run into that occasionally at work with individuals, things like that, and I just put up this wall, and I can listen to them because some people don't even really realize they can be energy vampires, things like that. They just want to talk to you about problems, issues going on, and that can be draining. So you got to learn to put up that wall, and you can actually listen to them, and give them some better advice, and it doesn't drain you in the process. But it's a matter of practicing those couple techniques. Again, envision that brick wall between you and them, or envision the bright light of your faith surrounding you and keeping all that negativity and stopping that stuff from draining you away. If this is a person you deal with on an everyday basis, like you live with them or something like that, you've got to really work at that. And just work with them to be uh, less draining on you, and that comes with talking to people about what's going on, and um, how their emotions or different things are affecting you, and there's other things they can do to prevent that from happening, because some people, again, they don't even know they're energy vampires. They don't even realize it. So you got to take a sensitive approach to people like that. Um, but there's things you can do for yourself, but you don't want to have to do that 24/7. You know, You only want to have to do that for a little bit at a time, the blocking thing, because that can be draining in itself. So,
Yeah.
and if you want more about that, message us privately or email either of us. You can get me at jackkenna.org@gmail.com. That's jackkenna.org@gmail.com. Or just private message me here on Facebook, and we can give you more information about what to do with that. William Maskell says, "Hi, Carly and Jack. Are there any online demonology courses that you are aware of? And if so, do you recommend any particular ones?" I don't recommend really any online. Well, online in the sense of what? I mean, there's online where there's individuals out there who will meet with you like once a week and um, go over training with you, actually talk to you about demonology and teach demonology online. And there's just like, I can study this online class, and it gives you some things, give you a certificate at the end. I wouldn't do those. You want to have somebody that when you're studying demonology, it takes a while. Number one, it takes some time to really understand and learn demonology. So you have to already know someone who is a demonologist that is into training and can train you properly. There's a few people out there, and usually it's more of a one-on-one kind of thing. I don't know of any classes per se that I would recommend or anything like that. What you want to do is try to reach out to somebody who is an actual demonologist. Usually those people are either also deacons or different things like that. There is I guess there is a demonology course that, well, it's actually for, I think, a ministry type of thing that's online that can help teach you demonology. I've never taken it. I know some people have studied through it. It is pretty intensive. That's a little bit different, but I forget who's that's through. I will try to find out that for you, William, and see what course that was. But there was something out there. I'll look into that a little bit for you. I don't know right off the top of my head, but I'm working with a friend of mine who's a demonologist to teach me demonology. So, and I think Carly's kind of doing the same thing out there. And we would prefer the one-on-one more contact. And there's a lot of reading you have to do, a lot of studying you have to do.
It's a very hands-on course, and it has a lot to do, like, kind of with your own faith. That's the first thing that you really start with, and it's very individualistic. It's not just like a class that you can sit down on and learn from the books and stuff. You have to learn through your mentor and through your own experiences and your own faith, and it's different than just like an online class. I don't know. I agree with you, Jack.
Yeah. It's something you really want to learn. I prefer to learn from someone who is one, and go from there. And Terry Egan, very, very happy to hear about how good things are with the house, new house she moved into, and how good things are going there. And we're very happy for you there.
She deserves it.
She does. She does. She's a friend of ours and she deserves to have that final peace and quiet, for sure.
Plugging my computer and it unplugged itself. And now it's complaining.
All right. We're just looking down the line trying to see who's there we
go. Yes, Terry. That's good that sunshine went into your house. I actually find sunshine is a very cleansing energy. Every time I clean a room or anything, the first thing I do is open up the windows and get as much sunlight in as I can. It's good for crystals too.
Yeah.
For charging
crystals. Yeah, the sunlight and stuff like that. Yeah. Sam has a question. He says, "Have you noticed increase in paranormal activity now during this period of uncertainty and fear?" I'm pretty quiet in my house, Sam. I've been stuck here. So,
we haven't really been going anywhere.
I haven't personally. I have not heard anybody saying too much about any increased activity. Of course, I haven't been online much either. Um, of my friends that we talk to, I haven't heard of much. Carly, what about you?
No, not really, but I do expect people to create their own activity.
Sometimes that can
You
happen.
know,
Yeah,
with
that's
all
true.
that especially being pent up in a house.
Yeah,
I know here it snowed yesterday, but it probably would be a good idea to like open a window and kind of unstuff all that energy, and make sure that you don't keep, you know, it stuffy,
yeah. I didn't want to do that
especially with the
yesterday.
fear going
Yeah,
around. But
yeah. I didn't want to do that yesterday because it snowed here yesterday.
yeah, it
How about
did
you
snow.
guys?
Yeah,
We had about 4 inches of snow, heavy, wet snow. Not fun.
it
It's
was
almost,
pretty though.
yeah, whatever. Uh,
It's nice for someone who has a fever. Come on, you can open the window and I'm all set.
yeah,
So
that's a good point. But I would. Oh, I didn't mean to click that one. I'll get back to that though. But Sam, I would ask. You asked that question, but if you've noticed anything, Sam, um, let us know. Um, if you've noticed anything, more activity, because we know Sam spends a lot of time. Well, he's out in Boston area, and he spends some time up in Salem, Mass, and different things like that. So maybe Sam's been experiencing some more stuff. Keith Bailey's on. Hello, Keith. We love you, buddy.
hi, Keith.
Um, and yes, seeing the sunshine is a good sign,
It is a good
Terry.
sign.
I just saw something and now I lost it. Colette says, I love getting involved in investigations when they are being filmed. I actually don't like that personally. Well, I it's okay. I'm not into the whole filming thing. I film stuff for investigations because I'm filming for activity and stuff like that. Um, when people are like doing investigations and they're trying to film the investigation for live YouTube feed or Facebook feed, I actually try to avoid the camera. I stay away from it. I do enough of that for TV stuff, so maybe that's why. I don't know. It's just if somebody has a question when we're doing that and they say, "Hey, Jack, what just happened to you?" or something like that, yeah, I'll definitely, um, give them an answer of what did I just experience or something like that. But I love doing that because I love sharing information and stuff like that. But just to be followed around, I mean, well, I guess it has its things. But with the TV stuff, that's a little bit different because I look at it as trying to teach people different things, stuff like that. But just somebody following me around on a investigation with a camera, eh, you know. We're there for different reasons. We go into other homes and stuff like that. We're there for different reasons. I'm trying to help the people, help figure out what's going on. Oh, I did see something that I want to get back to, if I can find it. Colette says, I have investigated my own home many times. It's been great. Got some good EVPs. I live on my own. I still don't suggest it because you can end up with something you really don't want. I know Colette said she's been doing it for a long time, but I just don't recommend it. It's just not something I recommend people do. And you see, Nick is locked down in Illinois. I'm just looking for questions. Looking for questions. See what.
Chelsea Anastasia said, "How can you tell if a spirit is trying to get your attention or they're negative?"
No, usually negative stuff's pretty obvious. Um, well, there is times when something can either potentially scratch you or knock things out of your hand or do negative type of things because they're desperate for your attention. In that respect, they are being somewhat negative. We just lost Carly. I don't know where she went. In, in that particular case, they are being somewhat negative, but for a different reason. They're just desperate to get your attention. Something truly negative. Carly just came back. I don't know where she went. She'll be back on in 3, 2, 1. Here she is.
Lost my computer,
So
man.
I don't know what she did. Um, so something that's truly negative, you can feel that energy. You can feel I don't want to say the intent, but you're going to be afraid of it all the time. I mean, anytime its energy is around, you're going to feel afraid or a lot of anxiety. It gives off a negative vibe, just like a person. If you're around a person that you get this kind of high anxiety from, or that you kind of don't want to be left alone with them, it kind of usually tells you it's something's not right with that person. Same way with a spirit. So, with a spirit that's just trying to get your attention, you may not feel that way, and you may just suddenly have something happen, and it's something unexpected. So, it's something you have to discern, and it's not always just a one and done discernment. It can take a little time to figure it out, whether something's really negative or something's just trying to get your attention. We had a case like that um, oh God, in Massachusetts. Anyway, it was in Massachusetts, and the guy was being slapped, hit, seen this tall, dark shadow figure. Turned out it was a friend of his trying to get his attention, desperate to get his attention because this guy was doing something he shouldn't have been doing at the time. And when he stopped doing what he was doing, all the activity went away. And we did make contact with his friend who was trying to get his attention. And stop him doing that. But it took us coming in to help figure that out. He couldn't figure it out on his own. It took us coming in and making contact with that spirit to figure it out. So it takes time sometimes to figure out whether it is something truly negative or probably something just trying to get your attention. Billy Sims has a question. Hey, Jack or Carly. Okay, this is a little bit of a long question, so I'm going to throw it up here. All right, it says, hey, Jack or Carly, what current events do you believe the residents of frequent locations we visit are confused by our absence? And by the way, are we still looking for? By the way, we are still looking forward to when you can get down to Octagon Hall. Yes, Billy. Yes, we're looking to forward to getting down there too. That's a good. I think that's a good question. There's so many locations people go to that now are kind of empty because of all the pandemic stuff going on. The question is, I guess you could say, are spirits aware there's a pandemic going on? Have they overheard people who go to these places talking before all this happened? Or are they just somehow aware of it? Or, how do they feel about the places being empty again? Maybe in some of the places, maybe they're happy for the break.
Maybe.
Because, Billy, some of these places get investigated a lot. And it's every day. And, think about somebody coming to visit you every day in your house. Every day. And they come to your house and they visit you every single day for hours.
I've been in that position for like months at a time, and I'm like, guys, please stop.
Time to go home.
Please, I need to be alone.
So maybe they're actually enjoying the small break, and maybe they'll actually be more active once we get back.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, we missed you. Where you been? We got some stuff to mess with you with now.
I do really
think of them as people, Billy. Think of them as people. I always tell people that. Think of them as people.
I do really appreciate the connection that people have with their resident spirits. When they have, like, Pam and Steve Berry, who own the Lookout House Bed and Breakfast. It's a wonderful place, and the connection that they have with the spirits there is really something to admire, I would say. True. They have a very good relationship with them, and it's very respectable, and that's something that is very commendable. That's true. It's awesome to see stuff like that.
Yeah, that's very true, and that is very true. But places in the area, I think of also places like Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, which was a hospital, and hospitals are very important right now. So maybe they kind of wish they were active again, and an actual, working. Oh, I apologize, people. I apologize tonight. Actual working hospital again, so they could help with this. Maybe they're aware of what's going on, and the nurses and maybe doctors and individuals that might still be there, who have since passed and are still, at their old hospital, wish they could help out. We don't know. We don't know garlic breath, Dan. And Evie says, I have garlic breath. Well, I did have pizza. I don't know how you're smelling it over this, but God help us. Yeah, laugh. Go ahead.
I have to live with him. Just think about me.
Yeah, think about that. Oh, I see.
Oh my lord! Here, let me see
It's
if I
been a
can.
long week. I don't know. I'm stressed out. I
Yeah, you've been taking care of me. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
exhausting.
trying to help my sister. They see. Jane says the Plattsburgh house is her stepdad's house. And Jane, I missed your earlier message. I will get back to that. I saw you saying something about it, and I can't get back to it right now. Um, I'm in my studio section here. It only lets me go back so many messages, so I will go back and look at that and go from there. Dwayne Woodward says, "What are your thoughts on the Zozo phenomenon?" Zozo, for those of you who don't maybe know, is supposed to be a demon that originally, I think, came through a Ouija board or whatever, was summoned. You know, is it a demon? Is it real? Was it made up for TV? I don't know.
It may be a negative thought for.
Could be a negative thought form, or it just could be something that people have passed around. I know I had somebody who said they called on Zozo and have been affected by it. Now, whether a demon truly is Zozo or pretending to be this so-called Zozo, that can be another matter. Somebody can call on something demonic and be calling it Zozo, and they're calling for something demonic, and it
Right?
does come through. That doesn't mean it's actually Zozo. It's just telling them what they want to hear.
They pretend to be children anyway. I mean, they can pretend to be whatever they want to be,
They
just
pretend to
to
be
get
whatever.
you, just to get what they want,
And
which is
if
you.
somebody thinks that Zozo is a real demon and they call on Zozo, you'll have a demon probably come to you. It may not really be Zozo. It may not be its real name, but a demon will come, because you're asking it to.
Hmm.
So, and people call on different things for different reasons.
Hmm.
And they think it can give them what they want. And they don't give you what you want. They give you what they want to give you.
The
Um,
liars.
They lie. Yeah, they definitely lie. They will convince you there's something they're not. So even if somebody says, "Oh, I've connected with Zozo and blah blah," because I called on Zozo, that may not be its real name. You may have gotten something demonic, but that's may not be its real name. So
Right.
yes, people can call on
You don't
demons.
hold power over that.
Yeah. Nikki Worf says there's a demonology course in England, I think, somewhere over across the pond. Again, that's something I'll look into a little bit. There is an online course you can take. I don't think it's really a demonology course as much as it is for, I think it covers some of that.
Like more of a metaphysical course.
And no, it's of course, it all depends on what your belief system is. Um, a lot of these so-called what people think are demonology courses are actually Catholic courses for ministries and things like that that cover some of that and cover demonology regards to demonology. But that's not what your certification is in the end. And they take months to go through. I mean, it's not something that's going to be a 3-night course. Okay, these things take months to go through. And Sparky says Tammy Hopler is a demonologist. Our friend Renee Dykes is a demonologist. We know
Carl
several.
Johnson and Keith and Sandra Johnson are also demonologists.
Yeah, and James Anito, and
Hmm.
we know quite a few. I mean, we know quite a few. And they went all through different training and stuff to get where they are today. Yeah, yeah. Um, but there is some things you can do online, but you really need to study. Again, I don't want to harp on that. I suggest you really study under somebody who is a demonologist, actual demonologist.
Yeah.
And Stacy says her dreams have been really spot on lately. Well,
Mm.
hopefully, unless it's positive, you haven't been dreaming about anything about me. Unless it's positive. I like won the lottery or something like that. Tell me that. That's good to know. I don't play the lottery, so now I'm going to win.
Every positive dream I have
Matthew
involves
Bennett.
food.
Yeah, Matthew Bennett says we have had more calls for cases here in Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh, good.
I've actually, because of being in New York and some of the cases we've had, I've had to put cases on hold because we can't leave. We can't interact with people right now here in New York. We're supposed to stay quarantined. Well, I guess people in New York City are ignoring that. They're just going to do whatever they want to do. I know our governor was pretty upset when he was down there this weekend, and saw everybody out wandering, mingling in the parks and everything else, and whatever. But we've actually put some of our cases on hold for now until this is over. Of course, Carly had been sick. We weren't sure
has been sick. I'm still sick.
Well, you're still
I'm
sick.
improving.
Well, we thought maybe you had the COVID-19, but you tested negative for that.
And pneumonia.
But we weren't sure. I mean, so she's been ill, and we don't want people being exposed to that, or Carly being maybe exposed to somebody who has it and doesn't know it. So we've been, kind of keeping a distance. So we've had to put some of our cases, unfortunately, on hold for now. Sam says, I work at a haunted hotel. That's right. Sam works at a haunted hotel. I have to say there are things are more active. I do think people are creating tulpas. Yeah, that's a very good possibility with all the energy and negative energy that's going around and anxiety and everything else. Yeah, that's a good possibility.
Now, a tulpa, that's a portal that people create, right? With their own energy? Yeah.
Well, you can create your own kind of, not really a portal. It's more of a, to me, I always thought it more of like a type of entity.
Oh, like a thought form.
Like a thought form. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my perspective. We'll have to look that one up. What's the definition of a tulpa? Carly, look that up while we're talking here. I always thought of it as like a thought form of some kind, like a negative thought form.
Oh yeah, a concept in mysticism and the paranormal of a being or object which is created through spiritual or mental powers. It was adapted by 20th century the Tibetan Tibetans. So yes, that is what it is, a thought form.
Yes. See? Sometimes I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes. Not all the time. I've been known to be wrong. I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken.
And Jeff Turner, I am 23 years old.
Yeah.
He did ask.
And my statement just went over Carly's head, too.
I'm sorry. I was looking through the questions.
I said I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken.
No comment.
All right, here's Regina Bova has something. I was wondering, Jack, if you are still writing about Carly's haunting in your next book. With your writing style and her story, I really hope you are. I would love to read about it. Yes, I'm still working on that. It's slow coming, but we've been sidetracked with different things. But yes, it is something I'm still working on, as well as another book as well. We will get to that, and yes, hopefully you guys will enjoy that.
And while we were working on it, we got to reconnect me with my biological brother.
That's true too.
So I've been hanging out with him. So more family time.
Yeah. And you already asked Jeff's. You already answered Jeff's.
He asked up above.
Yeah. 23. Yeah.
Yeah, 23.
23. Yeah.
Not 16.
Not 15. Yeah. We know she looks like it, but she's 23. Yeah. Come on, she doesn't talk like she's 15. People, come on, figure it out. She talks much smarter. She talks much smarter.
I can't talk like I'm 15.
Yeah, there's a couple other girls in the paranormal that are like 15 and 17, and you would think they were in their mid-20s, the way they as intelligent as they are. You don't run into that a lot, but we seem to run into a lot more in the paranormal. I don't know why that is. It's very interesting. Like these younger girls who are involved in the paranormal they seem much more intelligent than the average teenager. I don't know why that is.
They're more mature.
I think maybe because of things they've been through and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right. So Barry Mart says 2 questions. So why does limestone?
The
Oh, why does
limestone building.
limestone buildings seem to retain more spirit energy? Limestone is alkaline in nature, so to me it seems contradictory. I would think spirits would prefer maybe a more acidic environment. Maybe not. What are your thoughts on this? So there's the question in case somebody didn't catch me reading that correctly. Um,
Interesting.
well, limestone. Yes, you're. It
Are
is
they
an.
able are they able to detect pH?
Well, I don't think that's what he's getting at.
Well,
Like,
that's
it
alkaline and acidic.
well, alkaline would. Yeah, I mean, one would be you would think is a less conductor of energy, less
Ah.
likely to store energy.
Mhm. Okay, I get
Like
it.
with
Yep.
quartz, we know quartz crystal stores energy. Limestone, actually, they found out limestone does store energy, not as much as quartz. Um, I'm not totally sure why, but we have seen more activity in limestone buildings, and that could be just because the energy stores there, and it does help to trap it. I don't think it's what the spirit is necessarily feeding off of, but it's a way for the energy to be stored. Think of it like a storage, like in a computer, like in the quartz crystal. The quartz crystal gets stored, so it's a storage facility. Um, just like salt is a conductor. Okay. So salt can also trap energies, which is why when you're dealing with something with a spirit that's causing problems or a negative spirit, you will lay a salt line over certain things because it can't cross that. Because if it was to try to cross that salt line, it could get trapped in the salt because the salt is a conductor and it traps that energy, just like a copper wire. All right. It traps energy. It you know, it's a conductor of energy. So something that is energy could get trapped in it. Um, and limestone can hold energy. Um, so that's a good question, though, because you would think just the opposite, really, wouldn't you? You know, you really would. Um, but we do know that limestone buildings, especially older ones, have a lot of activity in them. Um, so that's my thought on that. That is just holding the energy. I don't think it has to do with being acidic. Besides, you would want to be an acid and jump in acid, or be a spirit jumps
Well,
in
I
acid.
was just curious because I know that potatoes, like if you stick to like electrodes in a potato, it's actually a conductor of electricity. So I was just curious and I Googled it and it is alkaline. Or no, it's acidic. The skin is alkaline and the insides of the potato are acidic.
So it creates a
So
battery.
yes.
Well, you could have that if the limestone is in a water type area, in a moisture area, like a swampy area or something like that, or just the moisture out of the ground. Could be then creating a battery type of environment.
Well, yeah, that's hydrogen.
Yeah.
That's positive ions.
Yeah. So that could be the case too. That could be the case too. There's always something in the the scientific world to back certain things up. Um,
And
we don't
bad
know
things to the planet.
everything. We try to give you the best answers we can. But
Yes.
I think we've kind of got it. We've got that one. Wes Coleman. Wes was talking about something. I'm not sure he's talking to. People are being affected by the emotional state, and a lot of our clients are complaining about apocalyptic style dreams. Yes, it's important to meditate and think positively to keep negative energy out. So this is something Wes is just talking about. I always want to throw it up there, and he's that's correct. It's just right now things are so crazy. You know, again, it goes back with what Sam was talking about, people creating tulpas, um, through your own high emotional states and negativities and negative thoughts and things like that. You think the world's going to end, or I'm going to lose my job, or maybe some people have lost their jobs in this particular environment. But you got to try to stay positive, and people can feel they're being haunted. When you're really not, you're being haunted by your own fears, your own negative thoughts, and and you're really haunting yourself in the end. You're looking for something to explain why all these things are happening right now. So people can create things. That's a good point, Wes, and they can come out in your dreams as well. That's a good point. Let's go something a little bit lighter for a few minutes. Jennifer McCart has a quick question. What was your most memorable interview or investigation? Go ahead, Carly. I've talked enough.
Mine would have to be the one that involved our client with the 8-year-old girl, who, what had happened was the little girl had found a Ouija board app on her iPad, and she had used it multiple times and ended up creating a portal in her room through a mirror that they had. End result of that case was amazing. With the help of Michelle DeRoche, we did help them and figure out what was going on. And it was a demonic case that we had. And, you know, at the end of that, while I'm sitting there, like, you become friends with your clients. Like, you can't deny it because, you know, you have that kind of attachment in a way. And I'm sitting with this little girl, and we're just drawing pictures and, you know, having fun and hanging out while Jack is talking to the parents and doing a small investigation. I'm kind of keeping her distracted. And this is how I found out that she used the Ouija board app. She drew pictures of me, and I hung them up on my fridge. And, you know, she ended up calling me in the future, like at nighttime, whenever she got scared, and I would talk her down and, you know, make sure she felt comfortable. But, you know, that really, like, hit me in the soft spot. And I'm not usually a softie, but that was probably one of my favorite cases.
And she still has the photos, the
And
pictures.
I still have the
Yeah,
photos. Yes, I
yeah.
do.
Still has the pictures they drew. And hello, Ellen McNeil. I see you out there. And Evie says hello in case you missed that. Every day Kurzweil says hello in case you missed her out there. You remember who Evie is. And Patrick Cross, our friend from Canada, says hello. Hello,
Hi,
Patrick.
Patrick.
Good to see you out there. And Wes is eating Skittles. Okay. All right. That's good to know.
Skittles are so good. Now I want Skittles.
I'm gonna pop this up from Colette because she's over in the QK and she has a different spin on some things. So I want to put this up here. She says, we have a different approach in the UK about investigating our own homes. It's many family that come through my house, was built in the 70s, but the land goes back a long, long way. My friend who I am involved in the paranormal team investigates her house. Yeah, I could see where, things are a little bit different over there. They do things differently. And you guys, a lot of times, are reaching out for specific reasons or to specific individuals. Sometimes people here, they just reach out to anything just to see if there's something in their home. And that's where I think it can get dangerous because there may not be anything in your home to begin with. And you've just invited something in and you don't know what it is. And that's the danger. That's the real danger.
Because you never know what's out there. It could
No,
be anything.
you don't. Yeah,
It could tell you it's something when it's actually not. You
yeah.
know? I mean, uh, Father Ed put this to me very well. He said, when you have a knock on the door and you see a little girl standing there and she asks to come in, you're going to let her in, right? But if you open the door and you see what it actually is, and it's like this huge, slimy monster that looks terrifying, you're not going to let that in, are you? You're going to let the little girl in. They know that. So they're going to pretend to either be a family member or something else, something innocent. And you don't want that, and you're going to get excited because you reached something that you think is okay. And I mean, as long as you're specific, yeah, that is fine. But you never really know what you're talking to.
Yeah, but like she was saying, a lot of people there reach out to family members
Yes, yeah.
because
Which,
a
if you're
lot
being
of people live in
specific,
the same home there for a very long time.
right?
So it's slightly different, but there's always a chance you could draw
Well,
something.
that goes down to intent too.
Yes, it does come down to intent. What is your intent? What is your intent of investigating your own house? What is the intent of why you're trying to talk yourself in? Oh my
Oh my
goodness, I am
lord!
sorry. I am sorry tonight. Wow, wow.
Just dump some holy water on you, man. Wake you up
I
a
felt
little.
pretty tired all day. Like I said, it's been a long couple weeks actually, with a lot of worry and different things like that. But Ellen says, she's glad you're, you know, At least not with the coronavirus there, Carly.
Yeah.
So she's happy for that. And she's chilling with her toilet paper roll. Probably her last one she has.
No,
And
she bought a 6-pack today, I think.
she bought a six-pack today.
I
Yeah, I
saw a
still can't
picture.
find any. Still can't find any. I can't.
She needs to share.
But we have toilet paper still, so I'm okay.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, we have some for a little while. So we're good. Let me see. Oh, here's one from dinner. Boop. We'll pop this one up. Do you ever wonder, with all the dimensions there are, that we are actually talking to ourselves in another timeline? Oh, are we on Star Trek here? Star Trek timelines? Is that what we're doing? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
She is right though. She is right though.
yeah.
There is a possibility. There is a scientific theory that there's multiple dimensions out there, and there's multiples of us out there, and in some universes we don't exist at all. In others we are completely different than we are, and in one of them I'm like ruler of the universe or something. I guess I don't know. Or is that Ellen? That might be Ellen. I think that's Ellen, who's in one of those universes. She is ruler of the universe. Yes,
Well, on
that's
a real note, that happened with me.
you ruled the
Remember?
universe.
No, the spirit guide that came to me. Remember?
What do you mean?
Oh, come on.
I don't know if that's an alternate dimension.
No, but I still had communication with, in technically another timeline, like probably a future timeline. But someone came to me that looked just like you in your 30s. It acted just like you in your 30s. You know, I became a little mini Jack Kenna because I hung out with this spirit all the time. Like, practically raised me. So,
It's a dead me. I'm just not dead yet.
yeah, I mean, but still, I communicated with you.
Although we did have somebody give us an alternate to that possibility of what actually you kind of came up with it along with James and Ito. So, that's fine. Darn it. Jesus, please stop already. That is like an angelic form of me, that part of me came here and part of me stayed up there. And
Well, still, that's the same
part of
thing.
me.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
it's
your
not an
higher self.
alternate. Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know if it's
It is a part of you.
It's not, I don't know if it's an alternate dimension, but yeah, I mean, it's all possibilities out there, Jennifer, and yeah, is it possible we're talking to ourselves? I don't think I'm talking to myself, but I could be talking to somebody from a different time.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost hunters actually came across something like that at Mount Washington in the Princess Room, where they seemed to be talking to the woman. She asked them where they were because she couldn't see them. So from her perspective, she's talking to somebody in her room that she can't see, and they're in her room talking to her that they can't see. So was that actually a spirit, or was it did they somehow cross a timeline? At least voice wise, where they caught her on the recording. She goes, "I can't see you. Can you see me?" And she was actually, it was a direct conversation, if I remember that right. And that was a Mount Washington investigation they did on their series. So that was very interesting. That was a very interesting. Was it across between time, and she could hear them and they could hear her, and that's something that actually happened in her past? That was our future, or what? We don't know. They don't know. But it was a very interesting thing that occurred. So
Do you remember?
A lot of strange things out there.
Do you remember that EVP that we listened to at Ocean State Paracon that someone showed us of a car crash? It was an EVP of like a long one. It wasn't just words of an event that took place of a car crash. Do you remember that? It was something along those lines of hearing something from the past.
Oh, yes.
Like an
That
actual
was
event.
something that Keith Bailey came across during the investigation. Yes. Yes, and they actually captured the moments in the EVP from the car crash. Yeah, that was a case that Keith Bailey had worked on. Our friend Keith Bailey, and if Keith is out there tonight listening, maybe he can maybe say something to that more. But he actually captured that. That was last year. He was talking to us about it when we were down at Gettysburg Bash about an investigation they did. They captured that, and I think he let us listen to part of it, and it was pretty
Yeah, he
crazy.
did.
It
It
was
was
pretty
like,
crazy.
and someone recorded it right there.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it gave me goosebumps.
But the recording had taken place in the house while they were investigating.
Yeah, but that was it during the same time of the car crash or was it after? Do
The
you remember?
EVP was like all the things that were said during the car crash.
That was
But in the EVP,
insane. That was insane and emotional.
yeah, because of
You
the
could hear the car crash and then the person in the car.
yeah,
It was that
yeah.
was emotional. So, um,
Well, Matthew was just saying that might explain why we hear our own voices during EVPs and ITC work. I've never had that happen, Matthew. I mean, I've never heard my own voice through a piece of equipment. I've heard my name called. That's interesting that if you have that happened to you. I
yeah,
find that very interesting. I'd like to hear more about that sometime.
having a conversation with yourself.
Yeah, yeah, really. And Nick says, "Do you believe you could chat with yourself from an alternate dimension?" I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I really don't have the answer. I suppose anything is possible, but I don't know. I don't know if you could. I don't know what the chances are of connecting with yourself from an alternate universe. I don't know. I just don't know.
You know, someone who might be a good question to ask that would be our professor friend, who is a quantum physics professor. I forget his name. Lenny?
Oh, Glenny.
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 Yes,
Yeah,
Glenny.
yeah.
He's
He
close.
could be. He'd be a good guy to talk to. Um, yeah, yeah. Do you know it is now 9:06 p.m.?
Is it really?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
It's been an hour already. So, in fact, according to our timestamps, it's been 67 minutes and 28 seconds. Ah, we're still here. What the heck? You know, we can go a little bit longer. I'm actually feeling a little bit warm, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm
You're
getting a fever. It could be explained why I'm feeling tired. Maybe I got a fever now.
oh, cool you
Yes,
are.
and Ellen says a very dear lady that lost her daughter in that crash. That's correct, Ellen. Yep, yep. But it was captured on an EVP. Yeah, yeah. That was crazy, and that was Keith Bailey and his group that captured that. A very amazing thing. Uh, Kelly says, "What I do know is that it would be super cool if you could talk to yourself from the other side, another dimension." Yeah, I guess I don't know. I might be pretty boring to talk to.
I wish it's from
How
the
would I get a
future.
word in edgewise with myself? I talk a lot, you know that. I may not hear what I'm saying. I'm always talking over myself.
Yeah.
It
It's
may not
okay
be a
though.
very good conversation.
You two just talking over each other, you wouldn't be able
Yeah,
to
never
understand
hear what
one
the other
another.
one said. Have to listen back to that later. Better record that. And listen back to it later.
That would be really cool if you could talk to your past self though, because then it's like you could give your past self information.
True, true, true. All right. Well, we are past our time here, and I see Bob Burnell says, "Good night, Jack and Carly, and thank you so much." As always, thank you, Bob. Thank everybody else for showing up. I do want to say this. If you're looking for any good reads right now, you can go on to Amazon.com and order any of my books on there. One of the better reads, Ellen McNeil will tell you, is Hauntings, Ghosts, and Demons. If you want a little bit of excitement in your life, a little bit of a fun read, that's a great one. If you want to learn more about investigating, then you can pick up my book, Paranormal Research, A Comprehensive Guide to Building a Strong Team. It tells you a lot of information about equipment and building your own team and all that good stuff. And then there's also my comic book, The Spirits of Forgotten Souls of Bay Path, where you can see Ellen McNeil is buff Ellen McNeil in
Stripper pole, Ellen
in a,
McNeil.
yeah, in comic. None of us look like what we do in real life. We all look a lot better. So you can see that great spirits team in all its glory and Spirits of Forgotten Souls of Bay
Jack
Path.
has darker hair and
Yeah,
more
yeah. I have
hair.
even more hair. Yeah, yeah. It's even better. Yeah, and as buff. Yeah. So, anyways, is all that, and right now a lot of things have been canceled, but we will be coming back with events and things like that in the near future, um, and hopefully by May, June, we'll be back on track for things. August 1st is our event out at the. Oh my God, my mind went blank. Carly, help me here. My mind just went totally blank. August 1st, autism event out of
Oh,
Ashmore
I was
Estates. All
yeah.
right, so you can still sign up for vendor booths and everything for that. I'm sure by August we'll all be back in the saddle, back working, back going, back traveling. Sign up for that. It's going to be a great event. It's strictly for autism. Autism Speaks is on board with it all. We're good to go with them and everything else. So it's going to be a great event. Total fundraiser for autism. That'll be that. And then I know in July, and I'm sure we'll be back in place in July, is um, Ocean State Paracon. So check them out on Facebook. Ocean State Paracon. That'll be in July. I'm sure things will be back up and running by July. So if it's not, then the world has ended and we can all just forget about everything. We'll all be trying to reach out to each other through what's left of us, through K2s and EMF meters and whatever else is still working, because everything else will be gone. Hopefully there's batteries around to run all that equipment. If not, I'll be using a candle. Make the candle flicker. Make the candle flicker. Yeah. Yeah. And a feather. Raise a feather. Make the red feather lift off the ground. I'll probably be more worried about finding food and toilet paper than worrying about investigating if the world comes to a complete end.
Candace Weston and I are gonna go raid a house so we can make a toilet paper for it. So
Exactly.
we're gonna be all set for the apocalypse.
Yeah, all the toilet paper's in the warehouses out in Boston. That's what I hear. I hear Ellen McNeil's hoarding a lot. That's not true. That's not true. Don't go to her house. She's not hoarding anything, except her own personality. Ellen is hoarding her own unique personality out there.
And her little ghost stiff. Little
Ellen
cool
says
ghost
she is super hot in
thing.
the comic. That's true.
Yes, she is.
She says my books are spooktacular. Thank you, Ellen, for that. I think they are. But anyways, come
Oh,
join
Nick
us again.
Nick might be speaking at Autism Speaks.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Awesome,
And
Nick.
and
Thank you.
Ellen says Gettysburg. Yes, Gettysburg Battlefield Bash will be coming up. I'm sure all those events will be taking place this year. I sure will be long past this whole Corona pandemic thing by June, July, August timeframe. I have faith in that.
I gotta go back to school, man. It's gotta.
Yeah, she's got to go back to school.
So
So, all right, everybody.
everybody stay inside.
Stay safe, stay healthy, stay inside, and until next week, be good. Be good to each other, be good to yourself,
Can you help me open this?
and I will help Carly open her medication pack. Is that for you or me?
Me?
Ellen asks if that's Viagra. No, that's not Viagra.
No. Can you help me open this? Can't.
Wait until after the show.
Okay. Night, guys.
Good night, everybody. Yeah, another crazy night. All right, everybody stay safe out there. Stay healthy.
Love you.
See you next week.